you a cat?
No. It's 2022. New year. New me. I got the newies. With you away. Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Magnetdale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnetdale, and welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a show where two queer trans women do a catch-up of the media we've consumed in our weeks and do skits and voices and have a catch-up. How you doing, Zoomy wife?
I'm very tired. Possibly from all the zooming.
I mean, that's
maybe
a lot of...
it's the not sleeping very well.
That is a lot of zooming you just did, but we all are also, like, a day back into having to have alarms in the morning.
Alarms in the morning?
I know.
What do you mean we're not waking up at 10 o'clock or possibly 11:30?
I know. As two neurotypical people,
who we definitely are.
Yeah, definitely very neurotypical people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun facts about neurodiversity, everyone. Autism and ADHD both have fucked up sleep schedules, and we just sort of become nocturnal when left to our own devices. Like, we very quickly were like, 8 a.m. till midnight? What if that was 10 a.m. we woke up and 2 a.m. we went to bed? Like, our whole day just kind of shifted by about 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we're having
and it was really in sync with each other as well.
Oh, 100%. Like, this is the thing. I would very happily sleep from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. and like that is apparently a very common, specifically ADHD, just a couple of hours offset from everyone else's circadian rhythm.
Yep.
Plus the good old autism. There's no one bothering me and it's quiet at night.
Mm-hmm.
But we used that time, having a weird sleep schedule, to play some things.
We did. We played some things.
What you played?
We played that Mario Party. Which one is it? Superstars?
We played some Mario Party Superstars, which is a mashup of some of the old Mario Party boards and rule sets and minigames.
Mario Parties, I believe.
It's a little further than that because
the boards are only from the first 3.
Yes.
But the games are from just about everything.
Yeah, so I know there's quite a lot of mini games from say Mario Parties 4 and 5 in there, which are GameCube ones. I don't think there's any mini games from any of the ones that go further forward to the Wii U. I think the GameCube is as far as it goes, but yeah, we played a good chunk of that.
We did 3 boards.
Yeah. So what I will say about this is older Mario Party boards are definitely a lot more unforgiving and brutal, and mechanically those older rule sets definitely have less bullshit to help you catch back up.
Less bullshit to help you catch up, and because I think I'm used to later ones.
Yeah.
Because my first reaction was, don't go straight for the first star, you're never going to get it.
Yeah.
Go for where the next one's going to be. And then it did not move.
Yeah, so the way they've set this up is a little unusual in that they haven't really explained the fact that these, the most of these boards have different rules that are very specific to, this is how we did it back in this game.
Yeah.
And it's not super well explained. So,
they're happy to tell you about the superstar that came and did the thing on this map in the original iteration.
Yeah, but not to be oh, hey, this board from Mario Party 1, I believe it is, where it's a bunch of fruit on some islands. The star will only ever be in 2 places. It won't move when you get stars. It will only move if you step on the wrong space, and that'll make it move.
Cantaloupe Land and Watermelon Land.
Cantaloupe and Watermelon Land. I did enjoy that one, but it really was just... It wasn't being nice to you. It was kicking your ass.
It was kind of
every time you got round to where a star was about to be, someone would step on a space and the star would just move, and you were like, oh...
Yeah. So initially it was I didn't understand the rules, so I went to the other island thinking it was probably going to arrive over there somewhere, not realizing it only had 2 places it could be. So I sort of gave up on that. I was like, oh well, I'll go and get a star. And I think I was 3 spaces away from where it was supposed to be. And landed on the or someone landed on the moving it option. I was like, oh okay, I'll just head over there, and then before I'd gone over there, it had already moved back to where I'd just walked past on my previous turn.
Yeah.
And then I had like 2 or 3 turns where I just kept rolling ones.
Yeah.
And since that's like complete RNG, there's like you can jump up and bash that block whenever you want. It does not change the number that comes out of it.
I don't know if that is the case in this one or not. I know that some Mario parties it does and some it doesn't, and I
know
haven't
some of them
looked up this one.
Changes. It matters, or it changes when it rolls that RNG. But as far as I'm aware, like none of them you can really like skill shot it.
Oh no, you're never gonna skill shot it, but like it's not like pre-decided. I don't. Maybe I haven't looked this one up. In most of them, it's not pre-decided what your result will be before you've even played. But when you play, press will, random a number out.
Either way, you cannot skill shot it.
Yeah.
So pressing the button matters not.
Yeah. We played one that was a big space station with lots of sprawling routes and some
and
doors.
And a big laser cannon that sucks up all your coins.
Oh my god, I was doing so well until that.
124 coins?
I had like 124 coins, was really near the star, and was really near the shop. So I was like, perfect, I'll buy a bunch of good items.
We just had Rosalina going round in tiny circles, just trying to ramp up that clock.
Yeah, I didn't realise I was still in the range of the cannon at a particular moment. I was like one step away from leaving the cannon range, and I get hit with the cannon, and it doesn't just take like... That cannon was more mean than like Bowser spaces on other boards. Like, it's not just like, lose a lot of coins, lose half your... No, every coin you have is gone.
Everyone who happens to be on this line at any point losing the lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. Also bribe the cops level, that one. Which is weird. Not a fan of that.
Boo the cops. Boo the cops.
And the last one that I thought was the more interesting of the 3 we played was the birthday cake level.
That was really interesting.
Yeah. So the gist of that was...
I started off really well at that one.
Yeah, the idea of this is that you're basically doing a somewhat linear track up this, sort of around this cake and spiraling up it to where the star is, and the star's always in the same place. But along the way there are these dollops of cream that you can pay to plant piranha plants in that will steal coins or stars when people step on those spaces.
You can put a small one in and just get coins, or a big one and get an star.
Yeah.
And as soon as it's got somebody, it becomes free.
Yeah. And like, all of the boards generally have star stealing mechanics. You've usually got the boost spaces that will go directly steal a thing. Here, stealing stars is cheaper, but it's not guaranteed, because you might spend those 30 coins to plant a big piranha plant and nothing ever steps there.
Yeah.
But it means that, like, there is this big gauntlet that if you end up on, like, end up going back around, you've picked up your star, you're like, oh god, now there's, like, 6 big piranha plants that I have to carefully dodge along my way. Or there's an alternate route that the game can't decide whether it's a better or worse route, and I understand why. It is a shorter route, it avoids the gauntlet, you do get punished by Bowser, but you don't have to do the gauntlet. And, like, nothing Bowser does is anywhere near as bad as the gauntlet's risk.
No, but the only thing I would say with regards to that is if you don't run the gauntlet, you don't get a chance that you will be one of the people putting something down, which means when you do go around there, you have a way worse chance of, like, every single one of those things being taken, and then you just, like, having bad luck and landing on... Even 2 of those in the wrong way could just
ruin your game plan.
Completely ruin you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I feel like there are definitely times where the gauntlet is like, oh, all of the spaces are filled already and none of them are mine. I don't want to go around right now. And where you want to be going the Bowser route, and you can't choose to go the Bowser route. You play a randomized game to see whether you do or not. I like that board's gimmick. I like the whole random chance of, oh, thank God I only have to deal with Bowser this turn.
Yeah. It's, I mean, you have no way of knowing which seed to pick to get the chance to go and see Bowser, so... Yeah, it's, it's a good one.
The roster's a little small in this Mario Party.
I was hoping that we'd be able to unlock some characters, but it doesn't look like we can.
It doesn't seem so, and like I was speculating that it might be because they don't want to have characters be playable characters if they show up in mini games or as like event spaces on boards, which I get why, but it does somewhat limit the roster to like it's it's not as robust a roster or differentiation between characters as, say, Super Mario Party had, obviously. Mini games were fun, though. Mario Party.
Yeah, I'll enjoy the mini games for the most part.
Yeah.
So what else? What else have you played?
Oh, well, we've been playing another game on the Switch. We've been finally making some progress in Skyward Sword HD.
Heck yeah, we have.
Yeah, so we started playing this, like, back in the summer, and then suddenly all of our weekends were like, people again. We can people for a while, and we sort of dropped off it. Like, I think we'd done the first 3 dungeons in the game.
Yep.
And we'd made it to the first sort of, like, a narrative thing has occurred.
Mm-hmm.
And during the festive break, we did the second set of visits to areas and the third set of visit to areas.
Yep.
How are you finding it?
I am very much enjoying it now that we have turned off motion controls.
I really like the motion controls for this game, but
I have enjoyed some of them.
They have been fighting you.
They have, like, I don't know if it's the distance I sit, because I'm maybe 2 foot further back from the screen or from the Switch dock than you are. And, like, as soon as we got that bow and arrow, I was just having no fun.
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 3 hours of, I cannot be fucked to fight this bow.
Yeah. And
because I would recenter the gyro, start aiming, and sometimes even before it had finished pulling back the bowstring, it was out of gyro again, and I was just spinning on the spot.
And it's clearly not a fundamental problem that is going to impact everyone with this game, because I was, slightly different position in the room, having a much easier time with that.
Yeah, and then I moved the whole couch forward to try and be closer to you, and I was still horribly drifting for a lot of the time. I don't know if this is the same thing as me turning silver completely black. Do I just emit some kind of signal that just destroys Joy-Cons?
I apologise, it took me so long to remember that non-motion was an option, and, like, since remembering that, I've been swapping back and forth a little bit. Like, there are certain mini games, cough cough, skydiving clown, infinitely more enjoyable with non-motion controls. I generally really like the motion controls still, and I know that
I don't mind the sword play in motion. That's weirdly that's the one I have the least problems with.
Yeah,
but it's specifically things like the bow and arrow, the whip, the hook shots.
Yeah, and I'm
glad anything that needs fine motion.
Yeah. Well, now that we've found a control scheme that's working for you, are you enjoying the rest of the game?
Yeah, it's been alright.
Yeah.
It's been way less frustrating.
Yeah. I really like this Zelda. I like its narrative stuff. I like the
story's
character
interesting,
designs.
the characters are interesting. The art style is pleasant.
Yeah.
The sense of exploration has been good. The whole collecting goddess cubes thing, and the fact that you're going back to the same places so you get chances to be like, oh yeah, there was that goddess cube I spotted. Maybe I can get it this time.
I'm still a fan of the revisiting the same areas but with different contexts each time. Like, I don't think
they open up. So...
Yeah. I don't think that every one of them is like a surefire hit, but I really like the concept of come back here, something different is available, something has changed, somewhere new is open.
It feels less like saying, oh, you're doing the same thing 3 times, and more like, so you know that time you came here and it was a level, what if it was now a bit of a hub world?
Yeah, what if last time you came here this was just like an open environment, but this time, you've come back now and it's a stealth item recovery mission. Like, it's
or the whole area's flooded and you've got to swim through it?
I feel like it's smart reuse of very dense areas and very different contexts for your journeys. And, like, I like this as a format for a Zelda game.
Yeah,
and I doubt we're ever going to get another of these because this one had very mixed reception and Breath of the Wild got critical acclaim, so we're never getting this again, but I really like it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if Breath of the Wild wanted to put that dense level of proper dungeons.
Yeah. Like, as someone that loved this, loved Skyward Sword and played it through multiple times, it really, I think that made me more critical of Breath of the Wild's lack of dungeons than I might have otherwise been, because this was such a densely packed game. Breath of the Wild doesn't try and be this in any way. And I feel like there's things from this that Breath of the Wild or its sequel could have learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I never got anywhere near this far when I played through Skyward Sword. Well, played Skyward Sword. Didn't play through it. Never played through it. And I think I got to the, like, where we got to just, like, during the summer.
Yeah, the first, like, oh no, Zelda's gone through a thing.
I don't even know if I
do?
got as far as, like, seeing that scene of her
Yeah.
just going through time, because that might have, like, hooked me enough.
Yeah.
The problem was I put the game down one day and then ADHD'd it and forgot it, which is weird because most Zelda games, like and like Breath of the Wild, that was what, a good couple of weeks of, I've not been sleeping properly. I've been getting up very early in the morning and just immediately jumping on Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I was 100% this for this game when it came out. I was that person, but like, it's... I recognise that, like, it is a bunch of very interesting ideas that aren't perfectly put together, but it's fascinating. I still think it's my favourite characterisation in the Zelda series. Like, I think it gets an particularly its main sort of set of characters, I think are better fleshed out than most Zelda games do.
Yeah.
They feel like, decently written people. I find Zelda's whole narrative and how Link interacts with that real interesting. It's a real neat game. We are getting real near the end of this game.
Yeah.
We have been, for anyone who's played this game before, we have been collecting the final set of songs to go and try and find where the Triforce might be.
And we've got a row and a half of heart pieces.
Yeah, I think we have...
Or hearts.
One main dungeon left, and it's we got the Triforce Dungeon. Go find a Triforce in a dungeon.
Well, we'll have to do our best to try and find the Triforce and not meet our demise.
Oh! Also, I skydived and stole 10,000 rupees from a clown.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. That clown got no money left. Took all his fucking money. What about you? You played anything else?
Yeah. You and Fee got me that giant cube of doom.
Yes, you now have a 17 by 17 by 17 cube.
Yes.
For puzzle purposes.
What if Rubik's Cube, but so much bigger and so much heavier?
It's so dense.
It's so dense.
That first solve was what, the better part of 10 hours you spent on that solve?
Yeah, it wasn't like a focused 10 hours of doing it. It was like I opened it, I was like, I'm gonna checkerboard it, and I like checkerboarded it. I was like, that's a tough twist. Okay. And then like, I think over breakfast I like properly shuffled it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that.
Yeah, that's all that's to be done,
It looks like TV static. And I was thinking maybe like, because I can do the Gigaminx in like an hour.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe 3 or 4 hours. And like I left it. We did a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, gonna have a go. And I did a side.
Yeah.
Like I did a center of one side, and I was like, that took a while to
That took most of an afternoon / evening.
Yeah, but then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a proper go.
Yeah.
And then I did 4 more sides?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because there was one side left.
Yes.
No, there was. I got to the point of doing the permutations on the other 2 sides, and that was like, this isn't going to take too long. And I thought this isn't going to take too long at midnight, and at 2 a.m. I finished.
Yeah, because the thing is, from what I can tell, the thing that seems to be take time is when you're doing your permutations and things have to be like, okay, does that line up with that in order to do the thing?
Yeah.
And having to count like considerably more, like, okay, this should be...
And not having the greatest, like, I can judge that distance.
Yeah, I need to count. Is that 11 across? 11 across and that's 11 down? Okay, that's right. Like, it's just a lot more cube to be precise about.
Yes.
Same for when you're doing the edge pairing.
The edge pairing was a whole different beast.
Yeah.
The edge pairing generally is fine. The problem I have is because it's quite tight And I guess it has to be because of the cubelets are quite small.
Yeah.
And like there are times when it's like, I'm not turning that. I'm just going to sit and just roll it around on the table because it's pillowed rather than square. Like roll it around on the table and try and like level everything out as best I can before I do anything else. And there's a lot of like it's between the combination of it's very heavy to turn, and sometimes like if you're trying to do like a this goes down, that goes across, this goes back up.
Yes.
Like because it's so heavy, like by the end of like my first proper session, like that 2 a.m. I've done all the centers, like my hands hurt.
Yeah, this is not a single session solve in most cases, I suspect.
No, I have thought about doing it as a charity live stream.
Yeah, I could see it being great for that.
Like just lying on the floor like a dead spider at the end of it, just my hands.
But despite all of the it hurts your hands and etc., you having fun? You have fun with it?
Okay, so what we got it on the 25th. I solved it by the afternoon of the 26th.
Mm-hmm.
And then I left it a few days while my hands recovered. And this morning I checkerboarded it again. We are recording on the 4th.
I'm glad that this wasn't you solved it once and was like, I don't need to do that again.
No, it wasn't like the square one where I was like, no, that's enough for me. I'm probably never going to get this out again. This is like, okay, it will come back to you.
When you say the square one, do you mean the X?
No, that's the X2. The square one, it's got like wide corner pieces, and the center pieces are like about half that size.
Okay.
And then it just turns at one point in the center. So you can rotate the top and the bottom round left and right.
Oh, yes.
And then it has just like a...
I know what one you mean now. Sorry, you can see why I got confused when you said the square one, and my brain went, but they're all squares, generally.
It's called square-1.
Oh, square one.
Yes.
Not the square one.
Yes, square one. I mean, it is the square one.
I mean, they're all square ones. No one of them is the square one.
Technically, they're all cuboids. Yes, like, this isn't that. This is very much a case of, like, oh, I can do it, and I wouldn't mind maybe actually, like, working that cube in.
Yeah.
Like, seeing what it's like once it's had a few thousand turns on it, which it probably already has, because we worked out it's what total cubies. It's like 2,000 odd.
Yeah, like
1,700 and something.
Yeah,
cubelets.
It's in the thousands.
Yes.
Ooh.
Lots of organising. Wrangle all those colours. Wrangle them.
Yeah.
There's only 6 colours, so it can't be that hard, right? Had a great time with that. Look forward to doing it again. And yeah, might be fun to try and do it to raise money for charity, but that will probably have some ibuprofen with it.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you played?
I played around a little bit with a thing for streams that is just about ready to go now.
Oh, yes.
I have a little shiny Ditto. I can do the VTubing that all the kids are doing, all the youth.
But you have a beautiful face. Why are you hiding?
I have a beautiful face, but some days I don't feel up to being on camera because self-confidence, and some days I don't feel up to talking because, words are hard.
If I was just an adorable Ditto?
Exactly. And you know what? Sometimes I just want to be a cute amorphous blob is all.
Way ahead of you.
I commissioned someone to create a shiny Ditto that I can make it do talking when I do talk. And I can, if I sort of wobble side to side, it'll sort of wobble with me. I've got all sorts of buttons on my Stream Deck now to make. I've got a little wobbly Ditto,
little animated
Ditto button that opens up. I need to put like pictures, but it's the various Ditto commands for various things. Like I can go happy Ditto, sad Ditto, angry Ditto, confused Ditto, hopeful Ditto, detailed Ditto, eyes open or shut, winking Ditto, waving. Woo! You just put both arms up and wiggle them around. Shout Ditto with an animation, or no, which is shout Ditto but with no animation to it. Yeah, I could just be a happy little blob. And it's adorable. I didn't realise how much fun it would be to just be like, I'm just a little blob, that's all. It's weirdly fun to just be a happy little blob. Sometimes you just gotta be a little blob.
Sometimes you do have to be a little blob.
Yeah.
Who wants a little blob these days?
So yeah, I did a little test stream today, and it went really well, and I worked out how to set it up so I could make it do my various animated buttons without having to be clicked into the program that it runs. So I'm using like a MIDI plugin for Stream Deck and telling it to do a virtual MIDI key.
Yes.
And then using that MIDI key to be a global hotkey for my rigging program.
Nice. Which rigging program is it?
It's Adobe Character Animator. As a person who doesn't pay for Adobe products, fun fact: Character Animator are apparently really good for doing face rigging of 2D animated characters in real time. It's got a secret mode in it that will allow you to not have to pay for Adobe product and just do your animated little thing. My understanding is it is designed so that if someone who makes things in Adobe is like, okay, I will sell you thing I have made, end user doesn't also have to pay for Adobe to run it.
Okay.
That it is a streamer mode, I think it's called, but it's so hidden away. Adobe do not want you knowing it exists. Like, you have to hold down a button, like 2 keys on your keyboard while going to a menu setting and clicking something else, and it brings up a secret menu to go, here's the streamer mode. But
like a player.
Yeah, it's essentially you can't like create new things in this, but like it'll play the file. But yeah, I did a little test stream and it went really well, and now I can be a little ditto on stream sometimes. Yeah. What about you? What you played this week?
We played some Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid Rise of the Psycho Rangers.
Yes, we did. We did.
Do you want to tell everyone about this? Because you are more powerfully rangered than I am.
I'll give a very brief summary of the Psycho Rangers. This is from Power Rangers in Space, which I think is the 4th Power Rangers series. Because you've got Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Turbo in Space, I think is the order. The gist of this is it is an evil Power Ranger team that shows up toward the end of Power Rangers in Space. Wonderful series. Might have a better opening theme than Mighty Morphin, if I dare say. I know, controversy. The Psycho Rangers are basically the only evil Ranger team counterpart to ever stick around for more than an episode or two. Like, they've been introduced in the past, but they either usually get retconned into being good, Green Ranger in Mighty Morphin, or they're like a single episode villain. This lot stay around for I think a good 10 or 12 episode arc. Like, they have a good amount of screen time. They have very cool designs. Their belts have an N on them because I think they're I think it's Nega Ranger, negative anti-bad Ranger. But that doesn't make sense in English, but they're still there because they use Japanese footage.
The Wa Rangers.
Yeah, basically.
Wa Rangers.
Yeah. But yeah, they're cool. They're cool evil Ranger counterparts, and we played.
And there's 6 of them.
Yeah, there's 6 of them. That's a whole thing. What I could get into this short version. There is differences between the live action, American filmed content and the Japanese content. That became kind of a weird distinction because I believe they hadn't finished filming the Sentai show that Lost in Space was based on when they started making the English adaptation, which meant
they had to film some of their own.
It's a whole thing. There is a green Psycho Ranger, despite there not being a Green Ranger in Lost in Space. I believe Lost in Space gets a Silver Ranger, which is a whole thing. It's a whole complicated rabbit hole.
I look forward to hearing about this rabbit hole at some point.
Yeah, we started watching some Lost in Space. We'll get to the game we played in a second.
So this is what happens every year. I get Laura a new bit of Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, and we spend 3 or 4 days playing Power Rangers and talking about Power Rangers and watching Power Rangers, and Laura tells me all the things, and I get to bask in the reflected joy of Power Rangers.
Power Rangers in space is weird. By like episode 3, they were doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover. It was
they were.
Yeah, they were. We had to go googling and be like, what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series is this from? Because like, those are high quality suits. They didn't make them just for this.
No, those are not the ones from the movie.
No, this is from some other series we went down a rabbit hole learning about.
But also a Saban show, which is why it showed up here.
Yeah. Anyway, the Heroes of the Grid expansion, you can either use the Psycho Rangers as regular monsters. You can use them as a boss, or you can do something called Psycho Assault mode, where you fight all of them individually, one after another. They keep coming for you, and then you fight them all at the end
so
as one big
one
boss.
In round 1, 2 in round 2, 2 in round 3, and then in round 4, you have to fight all 5 of them.
Yeah, and I really liked that as a mode. I thought
I was concerned it was going to be a bit OP.
Yeah.
But, like, we managed to clear it reasonably easily.
I think it helped that the in-space rangers that came with this set, better balanced than the base game rangers.
I think so, yeah.
Or at the very least, less prone to situations where they had no options of things to do, had a lot more stuff that could be done on 0 energy in the hand.
Yeah, I didn't struggle with, I've got a handful of cards that are just reactions that don't do anything, and like being paired up with another character.
I had a little bit of that with Pink. I had a little reaction heavy, but it was nicely balanced. I like that the Psycho Rangers have their own individual, like, if you play them in this mode, they're going to attach to your ranger. Here is a very bad consequence that will come up every now and then if you don't deal with them. I like that sort of nemesis system it has, where it's going, no, you have to fight your counterpart whether you're ready or not. They're here for you. They're coming.
Yep. And especially if you're, playing in, like, four player is about the base. Although, I think you can play up to 5 players.
Yeah.
You can play up to 6 players with this, apparently.
Yep.
But I guess you would have to pick an extra ranger.
Yeah.
So we were playing 2 hands of 2 each. So total 4 rangers, which meant that somebody ended up with an extra Psycho Ranger on us. It was me.
Yeah. I really like this expansion. I think it's really neat. The sculpts are really nice. I always forget the putty equivalent's name in this. The robots. Quantrons with the batleths. They're robots with batleths. It's great.
What if they were original Battle Series Battlestar Galactica Cylons, but they had batleths?
That is 100% what they are. They're one of my favourite minion enemies from a Power Rangers. I love them.
Yeah, they're great.
But yeah, it was a really neat expansion, and it seems to integrate and play nicely with the base game.
So you get 2 new locations, and we managed to, took a little bit of reading through it, but I think we managed to work everything out.
Yeah, there was a slight rule in the book that seemed a little poorly written, but we got there.
Yeah, although I think having played through it, I understand better now.
Yeah.
What it is suggesting.
I understand what it's going for, even if it doesn't write it well. Yeah,
that was fun.
It was.
And we had a good chat about Power Rangers, and we ended up watching a bunch of Power Rangers that will not come up in Watched, probably. But what else?
I tried playing a couple of little train-related video games on Switch because I thought, let's see what's on Switch. I searched the word train and was like, let's see what comes up. Both of these I'm going to have very short opinions on. I tried playing Tracks Toy Box Edition and Mini Trains. I'll start with Mini Trains because there's actually a bit more game there. It is a game about making train tracks in such a way that trains will collect stars and get back to starting depots, and the correct trains will collect the correct stars in the correct order, and everything will end up where it's meant to. It's a fine, serviceable, doesn't control terribly well, but there's enough of a concept here. Puzzle game. The problem I have with it, and this is going to be a problem that will come up again with the other game I'm going to talk about, when you've set up your train track and you're ready to execute the thing, you can go be in the train while it does the puzzle. That's great. Except it's a way too enclosed train carriage where you can't see anything out of it. Like, you can't see what's going on in any way that would, like, A, be enjoyable as a person that likes trains, or B, would allow you to see whether the puzzle is solving correctly or not. It's just a way too enclosed cabin. Tracks Toy Box Edition? No real game here. Make train track, train go on train track.
Sounds good.
Which, like... But you can't put any scene dressing around it, and I feel like that's the weakness it has, is that you can't be like, this is a train going through a nice countryside or going through a city centre or anything. It's just like, I'm laying down the wooden track in a void, and the train will silently move across the track, making no noise. You can ride the train on this. This one also doesn't have a good train view. These train games don't... If you're going to let people ride in the train while the thing happens, have a good train view, good angle, good train view. Yeah.
Do better.
Like, what I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, what am I looking for in this kind of game? Because I've been trying to find, like, a train game that's going to scratch a very specific itch. I worked out what it was. I want Dwarf Romantic that I can go in train perspective. That I can just click on one of the trains and go, I'm just going to sit in this train and watch it go around. Because, like, what I want is, here is a world in which this train exists. There is context. And I can do that in a very simple drag and drop way. And then I get a nice view out the window of a train making train sounds, looking at the thing I made. But from train. Like, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Didn't find it yet, but I'll keep looking. What about you? What you played?
Well, we played some Merchant's Cove.
Oh, we did.
Got you into Merchant's Cove, huh?
You found a board game I really dig.
So, we played a surprising amount of this. We played, 3 games?
I think we played 3 games of this over, like, 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's not a lightweight board game.
No, it is not. I mean, it's a medium-weight board game.
Yeah.
It's not too bad, and once you understand, like, a character, you can transfer that to, like, any of the others.
Yeah, so the gist is that there's boats of customers coming into a series of docks, and you are trying to create things to sell to them. They're colour-coded, you want to have the right size and colour of good that they will buy it, and that'll make points, multiplied by how many people of varying colours come in. You pull customers out of a random bag and decide where to place them, which dictates who's coming into dock and what prices things will sell for. And each player has a wildly different way of acquiring items to sell.
Indeed.
Do you want to talk about some of these?
Yeah, so I talked about the Blacksmith on last week's episode. The Blacksmith is a dice rolling game. They have 4 dice locked into their board already, numbered 1 to 4. And those are like their coal dice, that sets the temperature of their forge. But they are also rolling 4 coloured dice initially, and have a chance to unlock 4 more as the game goes on, to try and lock in at certain temperatures depending on what the numbers on your dice are.
Yeah.
So it is rolling the dice, you can re-roll them between turns, moving your person around, and then placing, slotting those dice into the various forges, and then one way or another manufacturing those goods by running however many forges at once. That's the Blacksmith. Then we had the Alchemist, which you played as.
The Alchemist is trying to make potions of varying colours and sizes by managing a potion bottle full of real coloured marbles, where you can pull marbles of a set colour you declare out of a row, and more marbles will sort of fall down from above to fill in the gap. And if another marble of a compatible colour falls into that spot, you can take that one as well. And as such, you're trying to micromanage your little bottle of potion to be like, okay, if I take that one thing this time, that'll put a bunch of things of the same colour together, and then next turn I can take a bunch of things in a single turn. Having to decide which side to pull the marbles from, first or second, to make things at the top of the bottle that haven't fallen to a side yet fall to the side you want them to fall to. Yep. And then you put all these ingredients into your little cauldrons and brew up your potions following various recipes.
Yeah. And then any Icky you've used, which is like a wild card, gets moved into your toxic waste. and you can either toss out your toxic waste, or there's various other ways you can sort of manipulate it and maybe move that back in and reuse it, or just put it back in your bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have the Chronomancer.
Oh, the Chronomancer's wild.
Yeah, that's the one that looked the most difficult to me when I was first learning it.
It's not too complicated, but you have to think several turns ahead of yourself. You are simultaneously playing as basically Doc and Marty from Back to the Future.
Yep.
The assistant has to move first, and the scientist can't overtake them. Mm-hmm. And you're sort of hopping back and forth between these two time machines
in this sort of staggered clockwise motion.
You can't do all the other classes can do actions whatever order they like. They can repeat actions. You have to keep moving back and forth between time machines in this sort of clockwise manner. But you have control over what spaces you're going to come across along the way, and some of them can be quite powerful. You have to manipulate the board so that you're picking what things you're going to be walking past and what options are going to be available to you and what they're going to cost. They've got a lot of abilities to take a lot of what they do is just land on a space and just take a good, be it a small or a large good of a certain colour, and then they've got abilities to take, like, okay, I've got a small blue, I can change that from a blue to a red, so I now have a small red. I can make it bigger, so I now have a big red, and then I can split it, a big one, into two small ones. So now I have two small reds instead of one small blue. Like, there's lots of course-correcting manipulation, but you have to set your board up manually each time you do these loops. You've got time that you can sort of bank and use later. It's wild.
Well, you don't have to use it later. You could, get bonuses at the market rail in the market
You
phase.
could, but haha, I'm going to take like 3 turns in a row because I've got bank time, is a very cool feeling.
The last character that comes in the base game is the captain, although more appropriately an admiral. They have 4 ships, they move around, and you can either be very careful and precise and take specific moves of, this is one movement and they will move one ship, one position. Or you can spin the compass and get potentially up to 4 movement, but that will be putting more cursed coins onto this other island. And if there are ever more than, or you ever need to put more than 7 on that island, you will start taking corruption cards, which will be huge negatives at the end of the game. And that's really all there is to that one. It's very easy to get lots of small goods really quickly, because you can just move a couple of ships out fairly close, only using a few movement each, and then just sending all of them to fish at once, and pulling in. Like, you can potentially get 4 small items in 2 turns.
Yeah.
And that's, 4 hours of game time, potentially?
Yes.
It's not a lot. So just getting a bit lucky with that spinner, you can do really, really well.
But obviously, you're gambling a little bit on the spinner, and... Yep. Yeah, it's really... All of these are essentially doing the same thing, because at the end of the day, you're trying to make, like, okay, there's lots of yellow people in the in the big items dock. There's lots of red and blue people in the small items dock. I want to make sure I have...
into the black market.
Yeah, I want to make sure I have the corresponding items in good amounts. Can I do it before it's time to start selling to people?
Yeah.
And it's... Every time I've played this game, I've gone, I could play this faction better than I did this time. I can see ways to do this better. I feel like there's new ways I can play better that I come up with every time I play it.
Yeah. It's been fascinating because, like, the first games that I was playing solo, I was getting, like, an average score of about 80-something. And I was like, I think I've done all right. I got, like, 4 more than the peddler, who is the AI character. And then, we played a game together, and I think that game we scored, 130-something each.
Definitely in, the mid-hundreds sort of range.
And then the last game we played, we nearly did 250 each.
Yeah. We've been improving. We've been working out what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's been fun sort of getting a feel for it, and...
Yeah.
How we would manipulate things. And there's also common stuff that happens on every single board, so everyone has their own little staff.
Yeah, a little shop row, employee row.
And so you can hire people from off of the main board, and they will come in a range of prices from like a small amount of time and a curse to an average amount of time or an average amount of time and not a curse, and a corruption card. And they will have different like immediate bonuses, but they'll also have different end game bonuses on.
Yeah.
And then where you position them in the shop will be when you run your shop row, which is always a set amount of time. So it's probably best to start filling up your shop with people before you run it too many times. And you'll get like up to 4 actions when you do that run thing, based on where you've got people positioned or if it's all full. They all have an ability to get rid of corruption card, but some of them have things like, I will do one of this thing, or in the case of the Alchemist, it was like, move a couple of marbles, place or place a marble from one thing to somewhere else.
Brew on a couple of cauldrons, but not all of them.
Yeah, there's a few of them that have got the like do a thing on one place rather than on all of the places. And yeah, it's fascinating, and
this is one of my favourite board games I've learned in a while.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like this is the one that I think I will probably be sort of playing and pondering over for a lot longer than a lot of the others. And as much as like it's been a case of like I want more time, and there are tons of games I really want to play more of, and tons of games I want to play in larger numbers.
Yeah.
This is the one that I'm like, yes, but this is the one right now.
Yes, this is the current board game fixation.
Yes, and one I think I will come back to a decent amount. I was a little bit concerned because I started looking around Reddit posts from when it first came out, and people talking about, oh yeah, I reckon there's probably 12 games in this. You'll probably play 12 times, and then that'll be that.
Really?
It's like, I don't think so.
That's wild to me that that's an opinion people had.
Like, a lot of people had that opinion. Yeah, you'll probably play it 6 to 12 times. Maybe a bit more if you're learning every character, but that's about it. It's like, what?
I cannot see eye to eye with that opinion.
I don't know. But anyway, like, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm glad you've really enjoyed it, and I look forward to introducing it to more people.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you played anything else?
I think the last thing I want to talk about a little bit, and I'm going to sort of rattle through this one a little bit, is I played Short Games Collection 1 on the Switch, which is a little bundle of indie games, some of which are Game Jam titles, some of them are just like experimental short little indie games. So I'm going to talk about, very briefly, the games that are in here. There is Swallow the Sea, which is a game about going from being prey to predator back to prey. It's one of those, like, you are small, consume things bigger than you to get bigger so that you can consume things that are bigger kind of games. It's mechanically, like, you know, I've seen this kind of game done before, but it does something very interesting with how it visualizes what you're getting big enough to consume, and then, like, going, oh, I recognize when I was one of those, and now I'm big enough to consume you, huh? It does an interesting wordless narrative about, you know, survival and the role of predator and prey in nature.
Slightly more advanced Agario?
Yeah, that if it was telling what felt a little more interesting of a story whilst
or any story at all.
Yeah. There is Ghoststein, which is a game about escaping a World War II concentration camp thanks to help from a ghost. You play a little Jewish boy in Nazi Germany, and you control a ghost, putting up posters on the walls, telling the kid, like, okay, go that way, oh, quick, okay, hide, stop, like, movement commands to sneak him past guards. Interesting, well done tonally. The problem I have with it is checkpointing. If you get caught, you will get thrown quite a way back, checkpoint-wise, and the problem is this is a slow-moving game. It is a game that mechanically is not particularly complex. You're using a novel way to go, move left, move right, stop, hide, and if you know, oh, I knew what I was supposed to do, I just put that poster up slightly too late and I got caught. oh, now I have to, because it's quite a slow moving game, I'm going to have to replay 3 or 4 minutes of that to get back to where I just was. It's the only game in the collection I didn't finish, and it's not because it wasn't impactful or well put together, it's just a combination of the lack of checkpointing, the speed, and the lack of mechanical complexity made it a difficult prospect to replay a section I had already played. There is... there's I'll do this one next. Uranus. I'm going to read the description the game gives of itself and then tell you what it actually is.
Okay.
The description. Sleep, get sucked into an abstract orgasmic kaleidoscopic liminal space, and race to your death inside the head of an angel.
Sounds like a Tuesday morning, yeah.
It's... what it actually is kind of Snake played competitively on a neon sphere.
Okay.
And that is the best way I can explain it. You are trying to not hit the other person's tail for a certain amount of time in order that your eye will close and you will explode and get one life closer to eternal death inside the angel head.
Of course.
Of course. There's a game called A Game About Literally Doing Your Taxes.
What's that about?
There's a pile of things in front of you. Some of them are taxes, some are not. You slide them either into the this is important, I should deal with it pile, or the this is trash, I should throw it away pile. Starts off very simple, then it gets a little more complicated, and then it becomes a surrealist horror experience.
Understandable.
Effectively handled, maybe not necessarily for people who have history of being in mental health facilities. It might not be the right game for people, but it does an effective job of storytelling in a very short amount of time with a very simple set of mechanics. And then the last one in there I want to talk about is The Good Time Garden, which I have simply written in my notes, queer sexual psychedelia. It is a cute, very well animated, slightly surreal, horrific, but in a way that is too pastel to find too horrifying game, in which you play a little naked man with an onion head, trying to find things to feed to this... The best way I can describe them is flesh mother that hungers, and you will go and find things to feed her. The way I was introduced to this game was watching a clip that our lovely friend Steph uploaded on Twitter of little naked onion man finds a pair of titties growing out the ground, slaps one of the titties, stands up. It's a conjoined lesbian couple. They give birth to a titty baby. You go take the titty baby, feed it to the big flesh mouth. It's a weird one.
Won't be streaming that, I guess.
Yeah, this is on Switch. This is a Nintendo... Yeah, little onion lad's got his dick out. Nintendo's like, yeah, it's cool.
It's just how Nintendo is these days.
Yeah, at one point, there were characters that were literally just buttholes with legs, shouting at me, being like, we can see your butthole, like, mockingly. And I tried to walk away, and they followed me mocking, and I was like, I'm walking back to the flesh mouth. You're gonna get eaten if you won't keep following me and mocking me, fine, you're going in the flesh mouth.
In the flesh mouth.
It was beautiful and bizarre.
Okay.
This is all
How much is that?
I got it on sale. I don't think it's on sale anymore, but I think it was like a few quid on sale, and I spent an afternoon playing a few mechanically interesting, narratively curious indie games on Switch. That is Short Games Collection 1. None of them were perfect, but like I had a fascinating time, and I'm more than happy to put some money down on a short but fascinating afternoon.
Yeah.
What about you? You played anything else?
That is everything I've played.
That's everything I've played.
Well then.
Time for this. Right, everyone. I'd like to gather you all together. I know. It's such a heartbreaking day for us all.
Tragic loss to us all.
Look, we all wanted to believe that we could put this off forever and that we would never have to have this funeral, but
It seems so too soon.
I've prepared a little speech. I think we all thought that there would be more time. We all want to think about the memories that could have been, the memories that could have been made.
Out.
I know, the potential cut short in its prime.
We tried everything to make it.
I know, but look,
last longer. Just a few more days, special days.
I know, but as heartbreaking as it is to hear, you did have that nail polish for 7 years and only opened it once. It was bound to eventually harden up and become unusable. I'm sorry for your loss.
It wouldn't even work when I added some thinner to it.
It was beyond saving at that point.
It was such a good colour and they discontinued it.
Well, we shall all pour out a little shot of our nail polishes in commiseration. Oh, that one's got glitter in it.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice, that one. I like that.
Yeah.
Where did you get that one?
Meanwhile, this one's been discontinued.
And you're pouring it out.
I didn't realise how nice and sparkly it was until we were pouring it. I done a drop on keep.
Keep the rest, okay? Keep the rest.
Right. I've had it a few years.
You never know when that day might come. You've opened it to the elements again.
Are you trying to work?
Oh, yeah, I'm supposed to be.
Got studying to do?
I really need to get this deadline done.
Are you staying off the internet for your mental health? Avoiding all those social media sites?
Again, I'm meant to be.
You're still picking up your phone though, aren't you?
I'm not doing a good job, but I'm meant to be.
That's why we've invented a tiny little hand that just reaches out and slaps you on the wrist anytime you pick up the phone to start browsing. That's right, naughty. Naughty, stop it. Put the phone down.
Ow!
Get on with your book you're writing.
Ow!
Get on with your thesis. That's right, tiny hand that'll slap you on the wrist. Naughty bads. You get that work done, and then you'll feel better afterwards.
What do I do now? My publisher's calling on the phone.
Well, it's not social media, it's different.
Oh.
Tiny hand that slaps your hand away.
Ow! I went back on Twitter.
Tiny hand that slaps your hand away.
So, what have you put in your eyes?
I've not put a huge amount in my eyes. We did watch together an episode of Game Changers over on Dropout.
That was the musical one, right?
Yes, the episode is called The Official Cast Recording. It's from the most recent season that's just been airing. It is an improvised musical based on prompts that the show host was throwing out, and they put together a musical about Mountain Port, the fictional city in which a baseball-playing prodigy wants to come and fulfill their dreams of playing baseball.
And there's a mean old lady who lives in a tree.
There's a mean old lady who lives in a tree. There's a prophecy. She can't let baseball kid play baseball in the sunlight. Everything will go to shit. For a little half-hour thrown together thing, weirdly engaging. I was very into this musical by the end. I was like, I need to know how this ends. I was very satisfied by the resolution. It was very amusing. It's a good little musical.
Yeah.
Following that, YouTube recommended me another improvised musical that two of the people from that had done together.
Mm-hmm.
The video is called Off Book, the improvised musical, live from the Curious Comedy Theatre, and it's on the Earwolf channel on YouTube. This was about an hour long, so it's a little longer. They improvised a musical that ended up being about various factions of people toward the end of their school years in a mock trial club, doing fake being lawyers and defendants and etc. And the various aspirations and emotional narratives going on between these various little factions of people. It was really sweet.
The bits I saw, I think they did a good job of just chatting amongst each other as being different groups.
Yeah, they had a sort of setup by the end where they had 3 pairs of chairs on the table on the stage, and it's like, okay, if they're at that set of chairs, they're these characters. If they're in the middle chairs, they're those characters. If one of them sat in a chair but one's standing, one of them is from that group and one has come from a different set of chairs, so you know that they're not one of this pair of characters. They did a lot with, like, scene building with multiple characters using only 2 people. It was real fun. I enjoy their stuff, and I need to see if I can find more of their stuff out there, because they're real good at improvising some amusing music that has a little bit of heart.
Music.
Yeah. What about you? What are you putting your eyes?
I read through the Adventure Zone comic number 4.
Crystal Kingdom.
Crystal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's 4.
I think that's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary did an amazing job again of doing the art on that. It was nice to actually get some time to sit down and read a book, even if it was a comic book. I just find them easier to manage for my ADHD and my aphantasia.
Exactly. Show me pictures of what happened.
Yeah.
I can't build my own picture. Show me a picture.
If you can't build your own picture, stop. It's fine. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah, well, and I haven't actually read it myself yet, but there is like a nice sort of like how these things get built and like making a page and how that works and the scripting process and stuff. And I thought that was really interesting to just have as like a DVD extra at the back of the book.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah. What about you?
I've not watched much else. It's been a very playing heavy week because I've been getting work deadlines done.
Yes, there we were, enjoying the last few moments of the holiday.
Yes,
and then the holiday was over.
Indeed, I had a nice 10 days off and then hit the ground running back, just being like, right, I've got 3 things that need doing today.
Yeah, we both work Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, just about got on top of everything.
Just about.
Yeah.
You still had a bunch to do today.
I had a bit to do today. I got on top of it. It was all good.
I had a day job, and then I've got to edit this.
It's a big busy time.
It's a big busy. It's always a big busy.
It's always
time.
a big busy time.
It's always a big busy.
Well, we've finished writing our first draft of our book, which means that it's going to be a little less busy for you for a little bit.
It is. I can finally get around to writing that, or making that album I was going to make last year.
You're going to have your Wednesdays back creatively.
I might be able to finish editing Polyarmory.
I know, right? Hey, if you haven't checked it out, Who Hunts the Whale? It's on Unbound. Unbound.com/books/whale. If you like Supremacy Software as a skit we do here, go and check out.
We wrote a whole book about it.
We wrote a whole book about it that is not improvised in the moment. We sat down and actually wrote it, and it has a big narrative and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, what if that was 50,000 words plus of story about what it's like to be a PA at Supremacy Software.
Yeah, I'm real proud of that book.
Yeah.
But yes, it'll be nice to have our Wednesdays back again. That has been the Wednesdays.
That has been the Wednesdays. Might be able to go swimming again.
Oh, perish the thought. Oh, wonderful.
Imagine it.
Yeah.
I'll be able to be tired, but also more productive. Ooh. Anything else?
No, that's basically it for what I watched.
Double check. That's everything. I think that's everything. That's everything.
Well then, time for this.
Laura, we've got a new sponsor.
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you find it difficult to hop between tasks?
Yeah, the neurodiversity will do that. I'm not good at disengaging from one thing on command. I kind of get stuck in stuff for a bit.
Do you need an easy way for a loved one to get your attention without you seeming rude for not just immediately dropping what you're doing and responding?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, the neurotypicals don't. They're like, why are you ignoring me? I'm like, I need to unplug my brain from the thing.
Do you have any idea where I am?
Yeah, my brain has a bunch of things it's got to unplug. I need a minute.
Also, I have ADHD, so I might forget that I'm unplugging halfway through doing so.
Exactly. I need you to keep me aware that you need me, but don't expect me to stop right now.
Exactly. So, introducing the task disengagement sand timer.
Oh!
Yeah, just so head on over to taskdisengagementsandtimer.lol.net. This handy timer, your loved ones can make it known that they need your attention without any without any expectation for it to be sudden.
So it's just a thing that's in my periphery that's like, oh yeah, I do need to disengage, and I've got a bit of time to do it, but they can't tell me to be instant because there's a timer.
Exactly.
They gotta wait a minute. The timer's there.
Yeah, they understand that they have, they're booking you in.
They're booking you in for somewhere in the next, whatever the amount of time of the timer that you've provided them is.
Exactly. You see, the timer is available in different time durations depending on how long you are likely to need to disengage. And with a bunch of extra sand, so you can actually have longer to disengage than the neurotypicals assume, just in case. There's a little button you press at the top, and it just chucks more sand into the top of the timer.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know where that sand came from. Definitely was in there the whole time. Yeah.
Bonus time. Bonus time for me. You can even have that on a little keyboard shortcut or a hotkey, so that they don't see you reaching over for it. But suddenly
just pop
there's
up my
more time.
Steam Deck.
Yeah, pop it in your Stream Deck.
Yeah, I called it Steam Deck. I keep getting those two confused.
That's going to be really disappointing.
Yeah.
That feels like the way some grandparent really disappoints a child on a birthday. I got you the new Stream Deck. Steam Deck, Granny. Yeah, the Stream Deck. Not the Steam Deck. Stream Deck.
It's gonna have some...
Elgato!
Oh...
I don't know why that made me laugh. So that is the task disengagement sandtimer.lol.net and enter the code Q&PS 195 6.
Maybe? Question mark? Who knows?
6. I'm going with 6. 196.
Well, that's what we decided the code will be.
Yes, regardless of which number episode we're on. And you can get an amount depending on what time you log into the site of using the code.
Oh, I see.
Yes. Because it's like a sand timer, you see.
I get it. It's not a good system, but I get it.
It can go up as well as down.
I know, I don't like that.
But, I mean, it'll still be a discount, but it will be a different discount.
Give me the good discount.
Yeah, it's all a good discount, but it'll be slightly different. Just to give it some flavour. Inside the boardroom of Supremacy Software.
Hi. So, I know, how do I do this? I think it's time to get in on those NFT things.
Excellent.
Yeah, because, look, I've been hesitant to suggest it, because on the one hand, money, but on the other hand, people really hate them, and that might mean less money. And it's been I've been trying to work out where the scales hanging. Is it money or no money?
Well, I have a bunch of billionaire friends, and they seem very into it.
Well, exactly. Here's the thing. I was like, why are they in? I was trying to work out why are they into it and why are the peons not?
Yeah.
And I think I finally got it.
Right.
Someone described it as a pyramid scheme with less regulation.
Oh, yeah. You know how I feel about regulation.
Oh, yeah, no, the less of it, the better. And, pyramid schemes already fucking fly under the radar. But, look, the way it was put to me, and I really like this, is the people at the top, that's us.
Yeah.
We are basically the only people guaranteed to make money. And everyone else who buys after us is basically going, ooh, they have a bunch of money, it must be good, I'll buy it, and we get money off that. And then people buy it off them, and the people who already have money who buy in early get the money, and everyone else who gets in late gets nothing.
Right, so you're saying now is the best time for us to get in early.
Well, I'm saying if we make our own,
right,
we will be the ones getting in early because we made it.
And then we sell it to our existing customers.
Yeah, exactly. Because, look, even if none of them buy it, we got paid already. As long as we make it, we don't buy this shit off anyone else. We make the thing.
Right.
That costs us nothing to make, basically.
Yeah.
All we have to do is going up. Up is the only direction.
Up is the only direction.
Yeah.
As opposed to down, which is where I'm turning the aircon today. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. That's cool. Yeah, it's been real hot lately.
It's been so warm.
So warm.
I cannot understand why it's this warm in January.
I don't know. It is the hottest January on record.
Well, as long as we keep pumping out these NFTs, we can afford to pump our air condition up to compensate, and I'm sure
what if
it'll
we were
work itself
selling
out.
stylized fans to our fans? You could be a super fan.
You were a fucking genius.
I know. So, what have you put inside your ear meats?
I put a couple of songs in my ears that I would recommend.
Tell us about your ears.
I listened to One Big Bed by Emily Axford.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of femme vocal with ukulele is the only real instrument being played, but it's being played a lot more somber than you typically ukuleles typically used for.
Yeah.
A lot lower notes, a lot more sort of melancholy rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
About just crashing into bed and having that exhausted lie down together at the end of a tough day as a D&D adventurer.
Okay.
It's it throws a couple of, it'll mention a couple of necromancer and blah, 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 and that and the other. But at its core, it's just crashing into a big bed with the people you love and going, oh God, we did it, and you're all still here at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's quite sweet. I also listened to a track called Gay Science by The Letter Girl. Very sort of distorted femme rock that is played through the lens of the best way I can describe it is like an 80s horror movie sound palette. Very specifically, and it's gonna be bad, this is the only thing I can think to compare it to. It's Sadie in Steven Universe when her and her band are doing that zombie themed song.
Yes.
That sort of slightly organy horror, a slightly campy horror.
Yes.
That sort of sound palette, but with rock with a lot of reverb on it.
Right.
It is a really interesting sound that I don't know how better to describe, but I really dug. And the last one was a track called Someone by Daisy, which it's a tough track to Google because I was trying to find the lyrics for it.
Yeah.
The problem is there is a track called Someone by an artist called Daisy the Greatest,
Oh dear.
who is a different artist from Daisy. Different song. So, this is a track about someone just going on a date, going on a date with someone who isn't going to be right for you, just because it's nice to have someone treat you nice and flatter you for a night. It's got a little bit of a surfer rock sound in places in it, but with heavy distortion and heavy reverb. Femme vocalist. Again, really interesting sound I hadn't heard before that I really enjoyed. What about you? What you listen to?
Mostly mixes on YouTube. So I ended up listening to a video on the Andrea Boma Bucarasso channel called History of Metal, which talks about different kinds of metal throughout history and how they sort of all spun off from each other. That led me to want to listen to a different mix called 2 Hours of Epic Power Metal Part 1 Best of Power Metal Compilation AFM Records on the AFM Records channel. I just fancied some slightly operatic, technical, speedy, fun metal sounds.
Yeah.
Lots of slaying dragons and stuff.
Yeah.
I've not listened to all of it yet. It's an hour and 53 minutes long. I'm enjoying it so far.
I do occasionally enjoy a bit of power metal.
It's a good vibe. I couldn't tell you if I would recommend any of the tracks on it because, to be honest, I was listening to most of it while epilating my legs. So, just because I wanted to be fancy. I realise we're in the middle of winter, but
hey, you can be fancy.
I can be fancy. I can paint my toenails and epilate my legs just because I fancy
exactly.
a bit of a time. So couldn't really hear anything much apart from the music and the general vibe of the lyrics over an epilator. But yeah, that was fun. Have you got any others?
No, that's about it for me.
I listened to a hour and 40-minute long mix on the DJ Electric Samurai channel called Psychedelic Trance End of the Year 2021 Mix Part 1. 135 BPM to 137 BPM. Really nailing down that BPM.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice amount of psychedelic trance with lots and lots and lots of pictures of mushrooms. I wonder what that's about. And the next one I listened to was on the Dysomnia Music channel, Progressive / Psytrance Mix 2020 Psychedelic Hallucination Part number 27 mixed. That's 3 hours and a minute long.
I mean, if you've made it that number deep into a psychedelic, how long have you been hallucinating?
Are you okay? If you've been hallucinating for more than 16 hours, please consult your physician. Yeah, lots of good musics mostly. Yeah, as I say, mostly mixes, very long mixes, power metal, things to listen to when I go swimming, because somebody was very kind and bought me a waterproof MP3
You
player.
can also
so now...
do a music while swim.
Well, the other thing that it will be really good for is the not slapping my eardrums with moving water.
Honestly, that's been the biggest thing. Even sometimes I'll just have them in and pause the music and just be like, be quiet, but no water in here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind water in here, I don't mind water out of here. It's when it's sort of like flowing in and out really quickly.
It's the repeated sloshing.
Especially if the sloshing comes in quite hard.
Yeah.
It really fucking hurts my very sensitive ears.
Same.
I have had ear problems since I was born. I've had like 4 sets of grommets in my life.
Oh.
And I still have lots of problems with them. I just have genetically crap ears.
Yeah.
So yeah, slapping in water is a big problem. And yeah, having like the ability to listen to music and zone out a bit more. Terrible thing about going swimming, getting really stuck in your own head, but in a bad way. It's like, if I just had some music...
Yeah.
It might distract me from my own thoughts.
Honestly, having music while swimming has been a fucking godsend. So glad I gave it a go.
Yeah. So I've got some... Oh, I just remembered another piece of music I listened to.
Another piece of music? Well, I'll just say words until we find it.
It's on the Nancy P. Ellis channel, which I think I've mentioned previously. Aesthetic song, cozy vibe when raining, lo-fi for witches only, lo-fi / calm. Yeah.
I didn't know you were a witch. I'm a witch. Oh, that's pretty hot.
You're pretty hot. I'm pretty and hot. Yeah, I listened to that while I was doing a lot of editing work on the book on Sunday, and I got through 3 chapters, so it must have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Recommend that. Enjoyed it. Lots of good lo-fi vibes.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm ready for more music making soon. Is that everything?
That's everything I've listened to.
Well then.
How for this?
Right. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for coming today to our press conference. We're gratified to have you all here at Facebook. We have noticed that some of you send an awful lot of reports about problematic content. Now, historically, we have pretended to look at those and then find no issue with any of the fascists, the bigots, the con artists, and various shades of anti-vaxxers. And we told you that there was nothing wrong with their posts. However, since you still keep seeing things that you don't like, we have decided to take strong affirmative action, and we are going to put little notifications under people's posts, under your friends' posts, so you can say if you would like to see more or less of that person's posts.
Wait, well, that doesn't really solve the problem.
But if your friends post things that are upsetting you, you can see more or less of those things.
Yeah, but it's not my friends that I'm worried about. It's the bigots and the fascists and those people.
This will be the answer. This is what we are providing. We feel that we want to make Facebook a better place, so choosing to see more or less of people's posts seems to be the way forward. Justify each and every one of your friends and interact with them more. Because we've noticed some of you have been avoiding social media with your tiny little slappy
Yeah,
hand.
because of the bigots and the fascists.
And the tiny... Well, we blame the tiny little slappy hand.
There's a problem before slappy hand.
We would like to see less posts about the tiny slappy hand.
Hey, you seem happier.
No.
No, is the new year treating you well?
No, everything is terrible.
You've got a real big smile on your face.
Yeah.
You're laughing and you look blissed the heck out. What? Are you sure that you're not having a good time?
The world is dying.
I'm very curious how that got you here.
Oh, I've had a brainworm fitted.
Oh.
Yeah, it feeds on all the cortisol I produce and shits out dopamine and serotonin.
That sounds fucking great.
It's amazing. You should get one. Hail the brainworms!
I mean, look, at this point, I'll take a brainworm. It sounds fab.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors.
Yeah.
All right, Larry.
All right, Barry. How are you doing?
Oh, not great, mate. The weather's on the turn a bit. We're actually getting... I mean, it's been warm for December, January now.
Well, I
But,
mean, that
my
is not
joints...
unfortunately not surprising,
not
but...
Not agreeing. I must
Yeah,
be honest.
we're hitting the my knee can feel the cold.
Yeah, the not even necessarily the cold. It's certainly a lot damper around, and it's not fun.
It's the bit of winter that isn't fun.
No.
The not fun winter.
No, it's it's certainly playing up with the old joints. I'll be honest.
Oh,
yeah.
I know. It's got me thinking, as I do every year, about it's a particularly rough time out for homeless folks.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
the dampness and the temperature drop, really not fun.
Yeah, and at this point, the where it is obviously much harder to find somewhere.
Somewhere dry.
Usually it might be a case of just staying out of the wind, but obviously this time of year you've got to stay out of the rain as well. And once the rain has soaked you through, there's no getting warm again until you've managed to have a proper dry out. But a lot of places don't want you hanging around.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one of those things I think about every year. Like, look, it should be nice and supportive and caring if you can to homeless people. Regardless year round. Homeless people not getting nearly enough support, getting too much hate from the world.
Yeah.
But particularly this time of year, if you are able and you're in a position to do so, this is a particularly important time of year to be supportive of the people who need it the most.
And it really hasn't been, a great couple of years to be homeless in because, a lot of places are encouraging people to only use contactless payments, which means people are carrying less cash with them, and those who might have had change, fairly regularly 2 years ago, have spent less and less time with that money.
Yeah, 100%. That's me. I used to very regularly have cash on me, and I'd give change to homeless people, but I'm very aware of the fact that I've basically become a contactless, non-physical cash person the last couple of years. And,
well, you've been trying to be as safe as possible, for good reason.
Or a lot of places just aren't taking it. And,
that is also true. Plenty of places where, usually it would have been a part of my ritual going out for a night to take some cash out so I know exactly how much I'm spending.
Exactly. And even then, that's another thing that's been a knock-on for homeless folks has been, even if you do have cash on you and you give someone cash, not a guarantee. For a while, there was no guarantee that places would take it.
Yeah,
it was a thing for a while,
exactly.
And that seems to have somewhat receded now. Most places will, not everywhere, but a lot of places will take cash now. But it's a rough time. Do what you can to support and go out of your way to have some cash on you because.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got the cash to spare, obviously,
if
not everyone does, especially this time of year. It's
if you're in a position,
you
can do that. Take the little extra effort to have some cash on you that you can have available if someone needs it.
And if not, maybe can you donate some time to a shelter or something, or to like a kitchen of some sort?
Exactly.
Hug, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good hug, mate. Good hug.
Good hug.
Right, I think you're gonna pop a kettle on.
Well, I'm gonna go have a nap. Have a
Nice,
good one.
nice.
So, Laura,
Yeah.
we wrote a book.
We did! We finished writing a draft that we sent to the publisher. Now all we need to do is fund it so it can be out in the world.
So it can be edited, because they won't touch it until you've done that.
Well, exactly. They're not going to do it until they know they can get paid.
So,
Yeah.
if you can't do it yourself or you've already done it, maybe you could share it
Give it a
around.
share. Tell people about it. Tell people it seems good. Give it encouragement.
Do a little matter,
It's
matter.
called Who Wants the Whale. It's on Unbound. Unbound.com/books/whale.
It's what it would be like to work as a PA within Supremacy Software. Nearly called it Electronic Active Software, because I can't imagine why anyone would call a
No,
company
why would
that.
anyone call it that? That's
Our
not.
legal team have advised us that that's not what they're called.
That's not what the book's called, or the company in the book's called. That's nothing.
No.
Ah.
So yeah, if you wanna get involved in that, we've got tiers. You can get like all of your books that have been on Unbound through them.
Yeah, get a bundle of signed books that includes my past Unbound books. You get a little Skype call with us. You could get a swag bag of Supremacy Software merch.
Heck yeah.
This is your shot. Get some Supremacy Software swag while you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for people to be able to get their hands on it, and I hope that's soon.
Yeah.
That's soon. Yeah. So yeah, give it a look. You can read the very first draft of the first chapter over there if you want to sort of get a feel for what our writing style is like when we're doing novels, rather than when Laura Solo is doing facts or butt stuff.
Oh, you love it when I'm doing butt stuff.
I do love it.
The
when
people
you do
love
butt
it when
stuff.
I do butt stuff.
But yeah, you are excellent at butt stuff. You just know how to get right in there with the butt stuff.
Yeah. I really dive into the butt stuff.
You do dive into the butt stuff. I would say you're probably the internet's premier tushy investigator.
I do other stuff. Laura K. Buzz, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon. That's the one that pays the bills. Go check out. Just search Laura K. Buzz. You'll find the stuff. I got cool stuff coming. Go check out the cool stuff I got coming. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
Me? Well, I Twitch stream and I make music under the name Bedroom Programmer.
That you do.
And I design t-shirts. You've got one of them over there. I can see it right from here. It's a bunny and it says frighteningly gay on it.
Yeah.
You can get all sorts of my designs over there, including the Wealth Inequality Solution ones. Another t-shirt that you own.
Yeah.
And one Fee owns as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm well supported by my partners.
Yeah.
You can join them. You can be as cool as them by heading on over to streamerlinks.com/Janiac, JANEIAC, and find links to all of my stuff in one convenient place where you just click on the buttons. And you only have to remember one website. Because I could not manage unified branding, unfortunately. Alternatively, patreon.com/stonedmonkeyradio. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me justify a 76-hour work week. Yeah. Just because my Wednesdays are not going to be spent writing a book, that does not mean I'm going to be doing any less work.
Yep.
Because, I'm not making this pay a living wage yet. One day.
One day.
Maybe. Right then. Will you sing us out, please, darling?
Until next time, be a stranger.
Yay!